The slap heard around the world, Mr. Black. Or at least, as I have in my notes, any one of the 5 people watching the Oscars live. And then everyone else caught that shit on social media after it happened live on TV. I think I saw this pop up on my feed, or I was streaming or something when it happened, because I didn't even know the Oscars were fucking happening, because I don't give a fuck about the Oscars. And I think somebody might have mentioned it in chat. Anyway, then they linked me it, and I watched it, and it was so fucking surreal to watch it, because like everyone else that you hear in the room, at first I wasn't sure if it was a work, right? I didn't know if this was like a fucking meme that they had planned ahead of time, because it seemed so like blatant. But then when you hear the back half of it, and then the audience reaction, everything, I was like, oh wait, that shit ain't fake. That actually happened. So, obviously you would have seen this, I'm sure. What was, I guess, I'll give the context for the 5 people that don't know about it yet, and then I'll ask you what your thoughts are on it. So, Oscars are happening, Chris Rock is hosting, and, which I think he hosted back in 2016 as well, but Chris Rock is hosting, he's doing his thing, he's doing he's the comedian at the Oscars, so he's kind of like roasting random people, whoever he can set his eyes on in the fucking audience. Some of it is probably ad-lib, some of it was probably rehearsed in pre. It's kind of how these things go. And he works around the room, and he's talking about he's talking about a husband and wife. I can't remember, Javier or something like that, and Penelope Cruz, was that the couple? Anyway, I might be just making words up. Anyway, I think I just made 2 people up entirely. Either way, there was a husband-wife combo, both nominated for an Oscar, and the joke was about the fact that the husband is hoping that he doesn't win if she loses, because then he's screwed. So he's hoping. The joke was to lead into Will was saying he's hoping, because he's in the same category as Will, please God let Will Smith win, because the joke was, you can't possibly have, if you're gonna win, the wife can't lose. So goes over to Will. That's his transition. That's a segue over to Will. And then the joke about that he ends with after that, which was apparently I've heard, or allegedly was ad-libbed, was his follow-up was to Jada, where he said, Jada, looking forward to G.I. Jane 2. Really looking forward to it. And that was it. And it was reference to her shaved head, clearly. Because G.I. Jane, rocking the shaved head. And also, of course, G.I. Jane is a terrible movie, so it's like a double entendre of like, a joke about how shitty G.I. Jane is, and then also the shaved head. So, and if you don't know this as well, Jada apparently suffers from alopecia, or has been for a while, which is an autoimmune disease that essentially balds you in various ways. Not necessarily the same as like a pattern baldness, like a male or female pattern baldness. It's a bit different than that. And depending on the severity, can even have you lose your eyebrow hair. Like you can have everything go. For her, it seems to focus mostly up around the back part of her head, to the point where she can't really wear her hair well, so she's been shaving her head, and that was the purpose behind that. So after that happens, the camera cuts to Will and Jada in the crowd, and then it cuts off back to Chris, and all of a sudden, you see Chris recognize that somebody's coming up onto the stage, and he goes, uh-oh, and he's laughing, and kind of awkwardly, and I have a sneaking suspicion that he could tell who it was walking up on stage, clearly. But if you've ever been on a stage, he could probably tell it was Will, but he probably couldn't tell really what was, because the lights in his eyes were probably fucking blaring. He can't see shit. He knows it's Will, but he doesn't know if Will is happy, sad, joking, whatever. Will walks up on him, full storm, and just like Muhammad Ali, open hand slap to the mouth on Chris Rock, who had his hands behind his back at the time, because that was the stance that he had leading up to that, and held it. And then Will walks off stage and goes back to sit down. And then after that, Chris's response was like, "Wow, dude!" Like he was so I can't even imagine processing that in Chris Rock's mind, because he's on stage live at the Oscars. Like, how do I respond to this? Says like, "Wow, dude," and Will's like, "Yeah," and he says it's a G.I. Jane joke. And Will responds with, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth." And he was like, "Okay," and whatever. And then Will was like, "No, keep my wife's name out," and he gets louder, "out your fucking mouth." And he says, "Okay, I will. Yes, I will." And then he cuts back to the camera and he has to try and like work his way out of it. And he almost pulls it off before accidentally handing out a documentary instead of an award for a documentary. He almost got there. And then the show awkwardly goes on. And when I say awkward, I mean, holy shit, you could have cut the tension in that room with a fucking... Well, you probably couldn't have cut it with a knife. You probably would have needed like a fucking lightsaber to get through the tension in that room. That shit was diamond hard in there at the time. So that's kind of how it all played out. And you can watch this all over the internet if you've miraculously not seen it already. But what were your thoughts, Mr. Black, on this incident? What went through your mind when you saw it? And I'm not about necessarily picking sides here because that's what everyone's kind of been about. But like, what were your thoughts on that situation when you saw that? How'd you feel about that?
I mean, I'm picking a side.
Go for it. Pick a side.
I'm on the side of Chris, 100%. Will
Okay,
Smith was
so
a fucking dummy. He was
all right, so explain it. Explain it.
All right. Well, I mean, there was some. Okay. Man, where do you start?
There's a lot to unpack here, isn't there?
Yeah. So there's some history. So Chris Rock, back in 2016 Oscars, made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, and it was along the lines of like, it was the year that Jada was boycotting the Oscars
because Will wasn't nominated.
Exactly, and Chris said, Jada's boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I was never invited. I was
never invited in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Something along those lines, right? And everybody was laughing and shit because, like, Jada's not the best actress.
She's not a fucking movie star.
She was pretty fucking dog shit, even in The Matrix.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah.
So, anyway, there is some history there. He made this joke about her being bald. From what we're hearing, and I believe this, is Chris Rock didn't know that she suffers with alopecia. He just didn't know. In fact, Chris Rock made a documentary about black women's hair and the struggles of the culture of that. So, and it was like a very serious documentary that was educating people on the struggles and the importance of black females' hair, and what that does to women. So to think that he would purposely, and he talks about, and I didn't watch the documentary, but from what I'm hearing, he talks about alopecia and stuff in the documentary. So the fact, I find it hard to believe that Chris Rock would purposely take a dig at her issue on such a lame joke, really. I mean, it was
a weak fucking joke,
was a
like
weak joke,
really
right?
bad.
It was like the worst joke he made of the night.
Which is what he said, basically. He was like, that's probably the nicest joke I can make.
And he even said, like, come on, it was light. It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Yeah.
He was basically saying, like, dude, I went way harder on you guys back in 2016. Like, you're sitting front row of the Oscars. You're nominated. Jada's here with you. We're going to say it like we're roasting everybody. This is the Oscars, right? Now, here's the other thing. I'll flip it around. If he knew that she had alopecia and this was something she was struggling with, which she has been public about, she's, but not everybody fucking follows Jada Pinkett Smith. You know what I mean? Like, nobody, I shouldn't say nobody cares because there's millions of people that do, but like, we're not up her ass like we are Will Smith's. You know, it's like, and to be fair, a lot of people don't even like Jada for a number of reasons. But anyway,
I'm not even convinced Will likes Jada.
Even if he did know, okay, and he made the joke, who cares? He's a comedian. You know, if that was Dave Chappelle up on stage, Will Smith ain't never getting up and smacking Dave Chappelle. It's just not happening. Chris Rock is a small dude. Will Smith is way bigger than he is. Now, Chris Rock, and it was kind of like what you said, when he got up here, when he went up on the stage, he said, uh-oh, Richard, as in, because he played, he's King Richard.
King Richard, he played the Serena Williams sisters.
Yeah, so he played Serena Williams' father, and that's what he got, what he won the Oscar for.
The Williams sisters, yeah.
So he knew Will was coming up, but he also probably, because of the lighting and stuff, couldn't really see and feel what was going on. You could tell he was a little bit nervous. Like there was...
Because who the fuck rushes the stage unplanned?
Who does this, right? He's a comedian. This isn't rehearsed. Like, is he going to take the microphone? Is he going to do a bit? Like, you know, what's going to happen? And he gets smacked. And then Chris Rock, you could see he clenches up, and then and Will Smith immediately turns around, he walks away, and then he just kind of goes back into his position, and he's like, okay, that happened.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Yeah. And I got to hand it to him. You know, there's a lot of things he could have done in that moment. He could have tackled Will. He could have grabbed the mic and made a fucking crazy joke. And I mean, Chris Rock
he actually says mid-thing, like, I could. He's like, I could.
I could.
And he checks himself.
He talks himself out of it.
Yeah.
And you got to hand it to him because, like, Chris Rock is a genius. He's one of the greats. You know, he's up there.
Dude, his brain was going 1,000 miles an hour on that stage.
He's up there with Dave Chappelle, Martin Lawrence, you know, the greats. And he could have tore the fuck out of Will Smith and Jada in that moment. Not only for what he just did, but also, you know, the whole entanglement stuff, the fucking, all of just the drama. He opted to not do it. He was the bigger man. He was professional. You could tell he was pissed. He was confused. He was hurt. He was embarrassed. It was all these things. And not only that, Will Smith just sat there, then mouthed off. Security came up. Nobody kicked him out. They let him sit there. They presented him with an award. They allowed him to go on and make this long-ass speech. It's wild. It's actually insanity.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey put him on blast along with many other people, and rightfully so. Will Smith acted like a child. Now, what I believed happened is Will Smith was laughing about the joke.
He was.
And then he looked over and saw Jada, who did not laugh at all. And when he realized, like, oh shit, I'm laughing, she is fucking super mad. And if I want to go home with this chick and not hear about this for an eternity or be the next fucking red table talk on fucking Facebook and deal with all this fucking shit, I need to do something. I need to stand up for my woman right now. And the only thing he did, the only thing in his mind was to go up there and smack the motherfucker. And this is not the first time Will Smith has smacked somebody. He smacked another reporter at another red carpet many years ago. It was a much lighter smack in the face.
In fairness, the guy was trying to kiss him on the mouth after a few attempts. So
of course, but still,
yeah.
You know, he's gone up there.
He goes for the slap.
He didn't go up there and punch Chris Rock. He went up and fucking slapped him. Slapping somebody is the biggest form of disrespect that you can possibly do. I'm going to be honest, man. I'd be way more embarrassed as Chris Rock to get smacked upside the face than to get fucking punched out in front of everybody. It is the most demeaning way that you can hit another male. You know, it's just like you're a bitch. You know what I mean? Like that's from my point of view. It's just damn right disrespectful. So Will Smith does that. He does his speech and all this other fucking shit. He gets on the mic and he apologizes to the Academy. He apologizes to everybody else. Says anything but nothing to Chris. Which goes to show that I believe that it's deeper. I think he was pissed off about what happened in the past. I also believe that Will Smith felt vindicated and felt okay with doing what he did.
Dude, he spent 5 minutes justifying his actions like he had a messiah complex. He literally said, God has put a calling on my life to bring peace and love. And then went on about trying to be a vessel for his people and like everything. Like, I was just like, and out there crying and blabbering on and sweating because he's stressed out of his fucking mind. And just and spitting and sweating. And then you know what else I felt bad for? The Williams family, who's sitting up there now going, okay, this is going to, the only thing. So all right, so I'll give my opinion before I'm getting ahead of myself. So I agree with you. If I'm picking a side, I'm picking Chris. Would I have made that joke if I knew she had alopecia? No. I'm not going to say whether or not I think Chris Rock. I understand. Am I going to say whether or not I believe he knew ahead of time whether she had it? I don't know if it matters all that much because in that context, if you go to the Oscars and everyone's getting roasted, you got to know that it's not malicious. It's just he's doing his fucking thing. And maybe that's easy for me to say, and maybe I'd feel differently. But you know what I would never have fucking done in a million years is get up on stage and slap the guy. He could have basically cut out the slap and just screamed at him what he did in the first fucking half or the back half of that, and just said, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth," and probably accomplished the exact same thing, but without the assault on stage. Yeah. Or he could have gone up on stage, whispered in his ear, said, "Bro, we can't be doing that shit," or taken the mic and talked about it. He still would have stormed the stage and did some crazy shit, but he could have done 1,000 fucking things that weren't slapping Chris Rock live on television. I don't like. It was very weird to me.
Man, it's on the most prestigious stage.
Yes.
In Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got bad ratings and stuff, but still, this is the Oscars. This is the pinnacle. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
They're comedians go on there and roast motherfuckers bad. I mean, fucking what's his face? The white guy, the British is he fucking Ricky Gervais or whatever.
Ricky Gervais, like his
Gervais
thing last year, where he just tore the room apart.
He goes in. He literally calls these fucking people pedophiles and fucking he goes in and people just laugh. And Will Smith, this wasn't about the joke. There's something deeper going on. They've got a weird relationship.
He was laughing. She is not. He looks over. Oh, fuck. Goes up on stage, slaps him, turns around, smirks to himself as he's walking off stage. He knows, like you said, Chris Rock is about 50 pounds lighter than he is.
Yeah, you couldn't do. He was going to beat.
He wasn't going to hit back. He wasn't going to go back. Even though Chris thought about it for a second, his fist goes up before he puts it away and shit. But it was unlikely, so he went up thinking it's unlikely for any number of reasons, whether it's because he's way bigger, whether it's because he doesn't think he's going to attack back and get into a fist fight on the stage at the Oscars and just take the slap. He knows that if he goes up there, he's Will fucking Smith. He knows the Academy's not going to suddenly drag him by force out of the fucking room.
They should have.
He knows if he goes back to his seat, he still felt emboldened enough to be screaming out at him after that. After he went up on stage, it was the most self-centered thing that he could have possibly done, because not only does it make him look bad, and it makes Jada look bad, and it makes the Academy look bad, but you know what I feel for? This is crazy. He's worked his whole life to get a fucking Oscar. He gets an Oscar that night, and he chooses that moment to slap Chris Rock live on stage. Not only that, but he also takes the thunder away from Denzel Washington, who gets his Oscar. He also takes it away from Sam Jackson, who gets his Oscar. And
from everybody, bro. The whole show.
No, I know, but
took away from Chris, took away from everybody. Yeah, took away
from everyone. But I'm thinking for the black community, it's like they're seeing a black guy get up on stage and slap another black guy while he gets an Oscar and other guys do, and nobody's gonna talk about that shit because everyone's talking about the fact that Will got up on stage and fucking slap Chris Rock in the mouth.
Imagine if it was a white guy that went up there and smacked the black dude. Or
it would have been
vice
bad.
Versa, right? Or a black guy went up there and smacked the shit out of a white dude, right? The Oscars is already a white thing. In fact, there has been protests and boycotts and everything else. And there you go. You've got the most prominent black movie star of all time. A top 3 of all time. Him, Denzel Washington, and fucking Danny Glover or some shit. You've got 3 black big time Oscar or just black movie stars.
2 of them getting Oscars that
And
night.
Will Smith is known to be a guy that is nice, that is, pure. Yeah, he's had his times, but like nothing like this. And he goes up there and he does this shit. And he does it to Chris Rock, who also has a background of getting bullied badly. He's been
Everybody
very public.
hates Chris.
Yeah, he's been very public about the issues that he's had growing up, being bullied, all this stuff because of his size, the way he talks, all that stuff. And Will Smith goes up there and does the exact same thing over a fucking joke. Now, whether you like the joke or not, I really don't give a fuck. You have no business going on stage and smacking anybody. In fact, you don't even have any business yelling back at the comedian and heckling. Like, keep my wife's name in your mouth. If Will Smith was really that upset about it, which I don't think he was, Jada was, and then he felt like he had to
do something
her and do something for his wife because she was the butt of the joke, and there she is, and he understands the deep struggles that she's gone through with alopecia and all this other stuff that nobody else in the room does, and he felt like he had to go and do something, and he did. Even still, he should have never have even said anything. He could have taken the opportunity to get on stage when he won the Oscar
and said his piece.
Said his piece. Said like, hey, my beautiful wife over there, who yes is bald, and let me tell you about alopecia and how it affects all these people around the world. He could have went on his Instagram where he's got like 100 million followers the next day or the same night during the break and made a post about that. There is many ways that he could have done that without heckling a comedian. He's bitch made. He's a fuckboy for doing it. And I hope that the Oscars suspends him for years to come from there. Obviously, don't get rid of his Oscar. He earned that. He was the best actor. It was predetermined before he even did what he did. You just shouldn't take that away from him because there's tons of actors that have done some crazy dumb shit in their life. Way worse than that still receive their Oscars. But that guy should have been kicked out of the building. He shouldn't be allowed there. He should be, if I was Chris Rock, just like Jim Carrey said, I'd have sued the motherfucker. I would have sued him so hard. I would have sued him for hundreds of millions of dollars, and I had taken his money. But Chris Rock is the bigger man. He's already very wealthy. He doesn't need the money. What he's probably going to do, he's probably going to make a comedy special, and he's going to make tons of cash. He's on tour right now. He's probably still trying to figure it out. And he was the bigger guy. He walked away, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, the star of the show last night. He handled it as gracefully as any individual could ever handle. Ever. Yeah. I'm not even sure how you can handle it any better. I don't even know if it's possible. So
look,
shout out to Chris Rock.
Clearly Will Smith is fucked up. Clearly. Yeah. Now, if you didn't I always urge people, whenever they've said, they defending what he's doing or they like whatever else, it's just like go to think that it was him defending Jada, which it wasn't. I can't. You have to understand that had nothing to do with defending his wife. It should tell you right away the fact that he went up there and blabbered on about protect, and like fucking like made up a whole Oscar speech where they gave him 5 minutes to justify everything he did, and then took Denzel Washington's advice about the devil coming for you in your highest moment, misconstruing it entirely, misunderstanding what he was trying to tell you, like in real time. It wasn't about protecting Jada.
He was trying to win people over in the moment. He was trying to justify.
He's trying to pull everyone in. He's trying to pull everyone in as much as he can to get as many people like seemingly on his side. But look, go watch the Red Table fucking interview where it was him and his wife sitting down talking about their open relationship, or what was at that point considered to be an open relationship, and watch as Will Smith's soul leaves his body actively for the entirety of that podcast.
Yep.
You literally watch a man die in body.
He's still dead.
In real time. And he never recovered from that shit. The way that Jada went on and aired all their dirty laundry publicly, in such a public manner, and then took zero responsibility for it, coming up with words nobody has ever fucking used for I got raw dogged by a young guy called entanglement, saying that it was fine, and then after taking no responsibility, reminding Will every 5 seconds, yeah, but you had your fun, you know, you had your fun, as if like she did basically the excusable shit, but like, oh, don't forget, you know, you're fucking around too. But Will ain't out there saying this shit. If you want to keep your open relationship, fine, work through it individually and or together out of the public eye. And nobody fucking need to know about that. Then August goes out and like apparently makes a song about the shit.
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna tell me that Will Smith gets up on stage live on fucking national television to smack Chris Rock in the mouth for a G.I. Jane joke because his wife has got her shaved head right now and give a big fucking thing. And you're telling me that's about protecting Jada, but in the moment where she's getting barebacked by some fucking young buck and he didn't slap him? Bro, come on. This guy's got a lot going on in his fucking head, and he's had it for years. There was a very distinct shift from Will Smith, like fucking I don't know how many years ago now, but you could see it. And he's been trying to keep up this facade for years. And at the Oscars, we finally saw it crack. And it all came together in this one emotional moment for him, and he fucking let it get to him. And he snapped. And like, and Chris Rock took the fucking punishing end of it.
Chris Rock was wrong place, wrong time. He had no idea that this shit was gonna happen, or he would have never have said it. And Will Smith snapped. And when he was screaming at him, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth, he was telling that to the world. He wasn't just saying that to Chris Rock. He was telling everybody, I'm fucking tired of hearing this shit. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. But here's the problem. Your fucking wife's got a big ass mouth, and she talks and puts her business out in front of the whole world, and you're one of the biggest celebrities of all time. And you guys, whatever ideologies he had, because I read his book, he's got this crazy, you know, he believes in marriage. He's going to do anything to keep his marriage going. It's one of his core values. Obviously they're miserable as fuck, but like he's doing whatever he can to hold on. He's losing his goddamn mind in the process. It's a weird family. It's a bad situation. Obviously, I'm sure Will Smith regrets doing all that shit because that shit was brutal. Do I still like Will Smith? I do. I think he's human. And it's obvious. he displayed it. Everybody has their problems, but god damn, man, that shit was crazy as hell. And we ain't heard the last of it. There's gonna be some more shit that's gonna come out. I know that the Academy, I think on like April 18th, they're
investigating.
Voting on what punishment Will's going to have. My guess is he's not going to be able to vote or be part of the Academy for quite some time. It even gets even deeper where the SAG, if they go in on him too, they could make it so that he can't even act in anything union. So like he could be banned for a period of time from the union. Yeah. It could be anywhere from 1 year to 5 years, and he won't be able to do any unionized project or act at all. So we'll see how far this shit goes and how far down the rabbit hole
goes. So many crazy bitches on Twitter defending Will, saying he's out here standing up for his wife, and they're like, I can see how many people are saying that they'd let their wife get disrespected. What a bunch of bitches! Like you ain't.
Nah, bro.
This is, you know what those women are? They're the ones that when you're dating and you're out at the bar or something, and some dude's like looking at her or some shit the wrong way, and like nothing's happening. She gets you in a fight. You don't give a fuck. Like you're just like ignore it. Just like fucking eat your food. Like he ain't over here. He ain't over. Oh yeah, he ain't over here grabbing it. He ain't over here grabbing a titty. He over across the room just looking over at you because you're good looking. Just fucking take that shit. Why am I fighting your fight? Why are you making me fight people? Just let me be.
Jada threw it back on Will Smith that night. That shit, to her, she was getting off on all that stuff. You could tell she didn't give a fuck. It was all about her.
She's reliving the Tupac years, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you that family is on one. I mean, I wish them all the best, but goddamn, violence ain't never the thing. That ain't ever it. And just imagine how many people around the world in comics are going to be dealing with idiots that are going to come up on stage and try and smack somebody because Will Smith went up there and did it, so that they could be the next ones that go up there and do something stupid like that. The Academy should be ashamed of themselves. Will Smith should be ashamed of himself. Chris Rock did absolutely nothing wrong. I don't give a fuck if he knew she had alopecia or not. It's comedy. you are a public figure, and like he said in his speech, you got to learn to just go with the punches.
Actually, what he said was, at first he said an hour or we, and then he said you have to learn how to deal with it. He didn't actually include himself in it.
He's just projecting, bro. All he's doing is trying to get people to feel for him and what he was going through in that moment. The reality is he was completely wrong. 150%. Anybody that is on the side of Will Smith, listen, I understand you being on the side of him for protecting or standing up for his better half. Nothing wrong with that. It's how you do it. And that right there, that wasn't it. Especially in that platform, in that setting, on that stage, on that night, when you're representing Black, you're representing Williams family, you're representing the Smith family, you're representing way more than just yourself and your wife. You cannot be doing that shit, period. And he did. And it was a big fuck up, and it's going to be the most infamous thing in Oscar history, maybe
and his
ever.
career, possibly.
And his career. And it's the one night he won a fucking Oscar, which he's been searching for decades.
Yep.
And this is it.
Yep.
That's what you did? Oh, bro, that ain't it,
And all
man.
for a crazy
I almost
bitch,
feel
bro.
sorry for him, man. I almost feel sorry for him.
The things men do for women, bro. Let's be real. That man was laughing until he looked to his left.
Yeah, bro. And he wasn't laughing. He just said, "Oh shit."
Oh fuck! I gotta
I need to go.
Here I go.
I need to go from I was laughing at that joke. Now I need to do the extreme. Now I need to hit a motherfucker.
Yeah. People were like, "Have you never laughed at something and then just like got angry about it after because you didn't know how to like stop trying to, bro." That man was back with his legs crossed laughing about that shit. Dude.
He saw Jada, and Jada was like,
Jada didn't take a second.
She looked at Will Smith. And she said everything she needed to say to him
bro.
without fucking saying a goddamn word.
Daggers.
She looked at Will Smith while Will Smith was laughing.
Yep.
And Will looked over probably to see if she was laughing with him. And she went, and she basically said, "You gonna let this motherfucker clown me?
Daggers.
Clown my hair in front of everybody tonight?"
Daggers.
And Will Smith went from to... That's literally what happened, man.
Fuck, bro.
Crazy as hell.